Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book recap. And in this episode, the books we'll be recapping were released on
October 21st, 2015.
And Mike's behind the camera, so you know what that means. Digital books first, so let's go, Mike.
Alright, let's start off with Back to the Future, issue number 1.
Really nice first issue. Artwork was a bit sketchy on certain pages. I have to agree with my friend Mike Spiderslayer, who said Marty doesn't look like Michael J. Fox. Hopefully as the series progresses, things will get better. Secondary Story was the weaker of the two. Right now it's a 4-issue series. If the sales are good, it'll continue on to an ongoing. Hopefully it'll get an ongoing. I enjoyed it. I would definitely say check it out.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 10, issue 20.
I enjoyed this issue with the Incubus. It was a nice standalone story after the big Arceus issue, series we got, or story arc we got before it. Definitely a lot going on with Anaya as well. Artwork was great. If you're a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, I would definitely say it's something you need to check out.
Godzilla in Hell, issue number 4.
Again, proof that you don't need dialogue to have a great book. This book is no dialogue, all kaiju fighting. Loved it. And the next issue is the last one. I'm really enjoying the route they're going with Godzilla in Hell.
Power Cube, issue number 2.
I enjoyed this issue. The story progressed. We got more on, oh God, why did his name leave me? I had it and then I lost it. Kenny's father. Artwork's really great. Definitely interested in seeing where the series is going from here.
Voltron, issue number 2.
Voltron from the Ashes.
Oh, from the Ashes, issue number 2.
This is a great second issue. The Row Beasts are back. We got more on Jace and his team, which I really liked. You could tell that they're going to be the ones that pilot the Lions in the end. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they come up from being the second place team and actually are able to pilot the Lions ahead of the team that's been beating them right along. Really great story developing here. And the recaps are awesome as well. The, what do you call it? The several years ago thing.
Yushigi Yojimbo, issue number 149.
Yojimbo.
Well, what you said. Issue 149.
Loved it. This is a great issue. Guilty pleasure of mine. I didn't get to review it this time around. If you're a fan of Usagi Yojimbo, you're going to love this book. I love this book.
Alright, my books. Big Trouble in Little China, issue number 17. Really interesting book. Jack Byrne meets up with a new villain, and they're going to play each other against cards in the next issue for Soul, so looking forward to that. Escape from New York, issue number 7. Snake takes down the Duke and tries to escape from New York. Remember, he is wanted, so we'll see what happens in the next issue. Hacktivist, volume 2, issue number 4 of 6. A Nate and Gracie connecting moment, but Ed trying to find out more evidence about what's going on in Tunisia. I think that's how you say it. Ivar Time Walker, issue number 10. This book was interesting. Dinosaurs and Ivar meeting up with the dinosaur thing, but Neela actually says that there's no time because there are many things that are going to be happening. Rai, issue number 11. We get Gilad, the Eternal Warrior, who makes an appearance in this comic book, along with Spylock, who is trying to kill the All Father. No, the Father of New Japan, I think. The Spirit, issue number... Oh, God. It's so fuzzy.
3, I believe.
I think it's issue 3. This is where Begil talks about the last that she saw the Spirit, and it was an interesting story. Definitely something to read. Wonderland, issue number 40, The Red King, part 1. This shows really insight about Violet becoming the Mad Hatter, along with the Spades group, and the White Queen trying to save her daughter as well. Also, Sela makes a brief appearance as well. Martian Manhunter, issue number 5, an average book. I'd say pick it up if you've been reading all along. If not, then you won't, but up to you guys. Really cool stuff. And Aquaman made an appearance as well. Okay, now Chris, the Stasi AntMan, issue number 1.
Not a book I'm interested in. I thought I'd be interested in it. It took a turn for... I really don't... How do I put this? It definitely didn't go the way I was hoping it would after that one shot. So... I'm probably going to come back to try the second issue before I make my definitive decision. But it was definitely one of the weaker of the number 1s this week.
The Uncanny Inhumans, issue number 1.
I didn't like this book at all. The artwork was a bit off. The story just was very boring. The last part of the issue was the best part, and even that didn't really hold up for me. I'm going to, once again, try the next issue out to see if it keeps me. If not, I'll probably be dropping it. I didn't even read the secondary story.
Batman and Robin Eternal, issue number 3.
This was good. I really enjoyed this week's book. Eternal has definitely been continuing to prove itself. I think we're going to probably move into a physical format for it after all, because things are definitely proving themselves in this series.
Batman Arkham Knight Genesis, issue number 3.
Interesting miniseries still. We go back in time and see what happened to Jason Todd at the hands of Joker and how it turned him into the Arkham Knight. So definitely something to check out if you're a fan of the gaming series. Artwork is great as well.
And finally, Titans Hunt, issue number 1.
The book I wasn't expecting to like or even bother wasting my time reading, and it turns out this book is definitely a book that I'm glad Brant recommended I read. There's lots of questions that pop up after this first issue, so much so that it involves the old DC Universe possibly, and I definitely want to see where this book is going. The story has definitely caught me up for, I believe this is a 12-issue miniseries. I'm going to be hooked on this series to see where it's going to go in a year from now.
All right,
let's begin. Physical books. Bizarro issue number 5. If you're a fan of Bizarro, you'll be reading it. If you're not, you won't. And to be honest, the artwork kind of takes me out of the book a little bit at times.
Yeah,
Green Lantern Lost Army issue number 5. It seemed to be too easy for Badidge to get the rings back, for them to escape. What's his name? Kilowog's ring was destroyed because they tried to dissect it and fix it. They end up escaping the planet, and now they're going to save, spoiler alert, kind of, Mogo, because I believe it was advertised in the next issue anyway. Secret 6, issue number 7. Black Alice is being targeted by all the magical realm because the magical realm, they're losing their powers, and it somehow connects to Black Alice. You want to know how? Read this issue. Great artwork, interesting story. Gail Simone's just knocking it out of the park. Star Wars Shattered Empire, issue number 4. This one spotlights Luke and raises a bunch of questions for the new movie, because Luke does something in this book that was unexpected. And I love the artwork. It's a great miniseries to set up for the movie that is coming out in less than 2 months. Superman Wonder Woman issue number 22. Superman has had enough. Now he wants his powers back, and he's trying every which way to get them back, and he doesn't want any help from anybody, especially Wonder Woman, and he tells her so in this book, even though she doesn't listen to him. The ending was a bit of a shocker, though. I wasn't expecting it to go that route. Wonder Woman 45. Wonder Woman tries to reach out to Aegis, or Aegis in this book. I'm going to say it's Aegis. I'm probably saying it wrong. And he finally starts to come to his senses a little bit, and we find out who is targeting Wonder Woman, who is the God of War. And I'm not going to spoil that till the next issue, but it was discussed on Frontline Live if you're interested in seeing.
Alright, and speaking of Star Wars, I had a Star Wars book for this week. Darth Vader issue number 11. This was not really an interesting book for me. I mean, I tried to like it. It was really just Darth Vader finding out that Alpha was behind the whole thing of finding out about Luke Skywalker, and he would tell him later, but probably not. And if you're interested, and if you've been reading all of it long, then you'll read it. Do expect a 6-part crossover, which I will be definitely
starting
covering
next month
on this channel.
Justice League issue 45. I'm really loving where this is going. Act 2 of the Darkseid War begins. Darkseid is dead, and several members of the Justice League are anointed as new gods. So that's really interesting. Yeah. And then the end of the book was really interesting as well. And
by the way, I didn't review this because I had a lot of books I was reading as well, so just wanted to point that out there. Okay, Archie Comics of Mega Man issue number 54. The cover says it all. It's a story about Proto Man. If you're a Proto Man fan, want to find out more information, definitely pick up this book. And if not, then you won't. But I think you should, because really interesting points about Proto Man that you guys may or may not have known before.
Fix that. Invincible issue 124. The reboot story arc begins. Mark is stuck back in where the series started, and now he has complete knowledge of what's going to happen from this point all the way through till he gets stuck in that root tree thing again. So now with his knowledge, he's going through his life or his career again as Invincible, with the knowledge of what's happening. You know, he's kind of like the future kid. He can warn them about things that are happening or what's going down, without. But Robot does warn him not to go too deep into explaining what's going to happen because it could change. It's like basically Back to the Future. Don't say too much or don't change too much, or else it'll change the end result for the future.
Sonic the Hedgehog issue number 277, a 2-story part. We have an introduction of Lupe, the Wolf Warrior. This was a great adventure story trying to find the Chaos Emerald, and we get introduced to the other 2 characters. That's going to lead into a fight in the next part of Hidden Course, because that's the second part of the story. Definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe.
Amazing Spider-Man issue number 2, the end of the first story arc, I believe. The end of this book was really cool because we get to see the return of an arch rival of Spider-Man, and throughout this entire book he's working with Prowler to get his tech back, and then it turns out there's a big twist at the end. If you're interested in seeing that, check out the review. This was a really great issue number 2. I enjoyed it.
My comic book of the week that I strongly recommend all of you should definitely pick up is Book of Death, The Fall of Exo Manowar by Robert Venditti. He gives an amazing story about the final day of Exo before he hands off the armor to his daughter, who becomes the new Man-of-War, changes commander through around. It's a definite 5 out of 5 book for that. Amazing. Artwork too is beautiful. Must get book. Just strongly recommended, absolutely.
And finally, Invincible Iron Man issue number 2. Tony Stark versus Doc Doom. Tony Stark versus Madam Mask. Lots of awesome stuff going on. We get to see the armor. We get to see it in action a little bit, changing up to a Hulkbuster, changing, you know, the blast and going into incognito. Oh. This was an awesome issue. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the dialogue. I love Tony's personality. I definitely would recommend checking out Invincible Iron Man. This is the Invincible Iron Man we been waiting for since the first volume of Invincible Iron Man ended.
Yep. And that's all the books and conclusion to week 312.
There you go. The intro to week 313 will either be tomorrow or Thursday night, depending on what we're doing. Because we got a lot of stuff going on all the other channels we're involved in. We got stuff going up on Brooklyn Boys 13. We got stuff going up on Frontline Gaming Zone. We've got Soma and Halo that we're going to be doing. We've got
5. Yeah.
Halo 5, that's right. Came out this week. We've got stuff coming out on Comic Frontline, reviews and more. And we got lots of stuff coming out right here on Dark Avenger C86. There's a bunch of links in the description below connected to things connected right here to Dark Avenger C86 and to all the websites I just mentioned. Frontline, ComicFrontline.com, Zone4Podcast.com, where we got a lot of podcasts coming up soon. Frontline Gaming Zone, lots of really great things to check out in the near future.
And since it's close to Halloween, we like to wish all of you out there a happy Halloween and a safe one too as well.
And reminder that on Halloween night, I don't think the Hallows Eve one is going to work out, but on Halloween night, we will be doing a live show at 11 o'clock, and it'll be watching Army of Darkness. We got the DVD. You'll be seeing it in the hall, which will probably take place after the viewing, so it's going to be the theatrical release. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys then, and we'll have a couple of videos probably before then. So until then, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting. You go behind the camera.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys really soon in the next video.
Later, everybody.